Great. Well, I just want to introduce what we did yesterday. We were addressing the board of CEOs from a company, an existing company called Beyond Meat. They specialize in plant-based meat alternatives, and the vision is to create proteins which replicate and supplement and are replacements for meats that are produced in traditional factory farming methods. This is for a range of reasons, one of which is environmental, another is ethical, and another is also reducing costs to the environment and socially. The recent media sensation, the plant-based chicken alternative, was actually mistakenly put in Caesar salads by Whole Foods, and no one recognized that this was the case until they did themselves, and they had to inform their customers because of soy allergies. But people, what Beyond Meat did is they turned it to their advantage and said our plant-based meat is almost the equivalent of chicken, real chicken. Yesterday we recommended to you the investment in an alternative form of producing meat, a new product which we propose to be called pure meat, which is in fact an animal product but produced in a radically different way from factory farming methods. We today are going to further elaborate the sizable ethical advantage of this product we call pure meat.
Great, and would you like to just say who you are?
Wait, this is part of our...
Oh, okay, great, no problem. All right, so I'm going to stop this, clear it. And ready? Start.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We are very happy to hear that your company, Beyond Meat, is considering adding pure meat to your product range, which now consists of plant-based meat alternatives. As we explained to you yesterday, pure meat is currently known as in vitro meat or lab-cultured meat, as this innovative meat is grown from animal cells. These cells are proliferated in an animal-free growth serum, which can be made from mushrooms, for example. This process produces different varieties of meat. We will explain why, for ethical reasons, this product should be called pure meat. Let me first introduce our team.
Adam, your health consultant.
My name is Justin, and I'll be discussing animal welfare.
My name is Juliana. I'll explain the ethical consequences for the environment. Over to you, Adam.
I'm first going to talk you through the detrimental effects which current meat production methods have upon health. I'll discuss the direct dangers that the high levels of saturated fat poses to consumer health, before moving on to explore the escalating problems of factory meat production to the public health more widely. The direct health effects are manifest. The current factory farming process for meat production puts a huge strain on the American healthcare system. Traditionally produced meat, although containing a range of beneficial nutrients, is, however, high in saturated fat. This has long been related to coronary heart disease, which accounts for 2/3 of heart-related deaths in the US. Pure meat will be able to replicate the beneficial qualities of meat, but minimize or even remove all saturated fats. The product also has the possibility of being easily organic by choosing organic donor cells and using an organic growth serum. It will also be free of pesticides, fertilizers, and hormones. There are also a range of indirect health effects, which I now will discuss. These are dual. Factory farming methods are creating a worrying catch-22 situation of either antibiotic resistance in human consumers of animal products, or the risk of human contagious diseases in animals if we refuse to use antibiotics on them. Let me first discuss the antibiotic resistance problem. 80% of antibiotics in the USA are given to livestock to prevent the spread of disease. Furthermore, 75% of these antibiotics are not absorbed by the animals themselves. They're excreted in waste, posing a direct risk to human health. The high levels of antibiotics in meat and also in the environment from leaching are making humans dangerously resistant to antibiotics. In late April this year, the World Health Organization found that 85% of Americans are resistant to antibiotics, largely because of the antibiotics in meat. Each year, more than 2 million Americans are infected and sickened by what are called superdrug bugs, whose growth and spread is facilitated by the overuse of such antibiotics. Some 23,000 people have died from these said superbugs. On the other hand, the problem if we try to refuse or even minimize using antibiotics in animal production is the risk of epidemics, which I'm sure you're well aware of. The FDA this year called for a reduction in the use of antibiotics on animals in response to the obvious health effects on humans. However, if we are to stop giving antibiotics to animals, there is an equally significant public health risk. Without antibiotics, the spread of contagious diseases would be uncontrollable. Epidemic diseases such as mad cow disease, swine flu, or avian influenza, which already have posed health risks to public health, would pose an even greater risk if animals continue to be reared according to mass-produced factory farming methods. To conclude on the health front, pure meat avoids all of the monumental health detriments. Firstly, our small-scale, centralized, controlled production of meat allows us to vary its nutritional content on demand. Secondly, our production method overcomes the catch-22 of factory farming methods, obviating the need for antibiotics whatsoever. Our production process takes the animal out of the equation and allows meat to be produced in controllable, sterile, and safe conditions. Therefore, pure meat will provide the same, if not improved, nutritional benefits for the consumer, reducing the risk of coronary heart disease, while providing a much-needed solution to the escalating dangers of factory meat production. Julianne, over to you.
Traditional meat production is highly inefficient. This involves extremely harmful consequences for the environment. For instance, traditional meat production is responsible for a large volume of greenhouse gas emissions. Factory farmed livestock accounts for 18% of human-caused greenhouse gas emissions and 37% of methane emissions. Methane has more than 20 times the global warming potential of CO2. Raising livestock accounts for 23% of global water use in agriculture, and producing traditional meat requires up to 13 pounds of grain to produce 1 pound of meat. And in the US, for instance, more than 70% of grain and cereals are fed to farmed animals. Yet, the edible parts of a pig or chicken amount to 70% of the animal, while for cow it is 50%, just 50%. The rest is waste. Furthermore, animals raised for food in the US produce far more excrement than the entire US human population, roughly 89,000 pounds per second. And most of it without the benefit of waste treatment system, mostly in factory farms. The production of pure meat, however, would reduce these effects to a large extent, or even obliterate them completely. In particular, we would not have to deal with a large amount of excrements anymore. And CO2 emissions and land usage could be reduced drastically by producing pure meat locally and in a much more condensed area. Over to you, Justin.
Yesterday you raised concerns that people might be tempted to think that the growing vegetarian, organic, and local food movements, which are plant-based products currently tap into, may be resistant to pure meat on the grounds of animal welfare. But on the contrary, animal welfare is one of the key benefits of pure meat. Ethical vegetarians mainly object to consuming meat or other animal products due to the conditions imposed on and the harm caused to animals in factory farms. In factory farms, cows, for example, can be castrated, dehorned, and branded without the aid of painkillers, causing physical and psychological damage to the animals. 8 billion farm animals die each and every year in America alone. And globally, it's more than 65 billion animals that die yearly, which is more than 6 million every hour. 98% of the animals raised for food in America, for example, are raised in factory farms, which shows that the idea of happy meat is largely a myth or is not reaching the public. Pure meat production, however, does not rely on the cruel factory farming conditions that are widespread today. With pure meat, cells are acquired through a non-lethal, painless biopsy procedure. We envision handfuls of animals being kept perhaps in people's own backyards, and occasionally cells being procured from these animals, which can then be proliferated in the lab, causing no direct harm to the animal. Indeed, cells can even be procured from the carcass of the animal after it has lived its life to fruition, and therefore we do not impose on the animal whatsoever. This preserves the relationship between human beings and the natural world, which people value. So for example, people will still see cows or sheep grazing outside, and this is something that they can feel a connection to, even more so than when animals are kept in factory farms. We have consulted Julian Savulescu, who is the head of the Oxford Centre for Practical Ethics, and because of the improvements of animal conditions and the decrease in suffering that would be caused by pure meat, he believes that ethical vegetarians should be among the most enthusiastic supporters and promoters of pure meat. He goes so far as to say that ethical vegetarians have a responsibility to invest in pure meat and promote this product insofar as it obliterates the conditions of factory farming, or has this potential. This claim is backed up by PETA, for example, who has said that they will give a $100 million prize to the first group to produce marketable lab-based meat. With Pure Meat, your company can not only receive this $1 million prize, but be praised as the first company to produce this product that plays a key role in the amelioration of the current conditions of degradation in which animals in factory farms are kept. Even if this product does not quite replace factory farms initially, it will help many of those consumers who are on the fence, who want to be, on the one hand, ethical vegetarians for ethical reasons, but who are just so addicted to meat and enjoy the consumption of this product that they cannot give it up.
We hope, therefore, to have justified why, ethically speaking, our product deserves the title Pure Meat. Pure meat is meat without the health, environmental, and animal welfare detriments of factory farmed meat. You can be confident that you have not only made a sensible business decision in investing in pure meat, therefore, but also an ethical one. Thank you.